Good evening, guys. Welcome to Blood, Sweat, and Beers, a podcast brought to you by Sports Kabri. With me is Rahul Saha and Ali Kazi, as usual. We're here to talk about the Fantasy Premier League, what the next week has to offer. We'll also reflect on what happened in Game Week 9. But yeah, let's take things a little slow. Let's first understand what happened in Game Week 9 exactly. Guys, let's talk about our teams. Let's talk about where we failed, where we could have done better, and let's also give the viewers something to look forward to in Game Week 10. Quickly, Ali and Rahul, how was your weeks, like respectively? Ali, how was your week? First of all,
my
let's hear.
my my week wasn't good for pretty much few reasons. Firstly, because of Manchester United performance, and the second reason, me not performing well in the FPL, was because of Manchester United. My gut feeling of not making Haaland as captain, as I thought he might not be able to score more than one, but he scored a hat trick and got two assists. So that's where I failed. And overall, I scored 1 point below average. So I think this is the second time or first or second time I've scored below average. So I'm not content with it just because I didn't make Haaland as the captain and putting Bernardo on the bench. Those were two mistakes I made.
Ali, I completely understand your situation. I think I had a very similar problem. I mean, we'll get on to my thing, but let's talk. Let's take a look quickly at Rahul Saha's game week 9 score. Rahul, how was your week from an FPL perspective?
I had a great week. Finally, broke into the 1 million mark after 8 difficult weeks. Uh, I started with I think around 2.4 or 2.6 mil. So I was waiting for how long would it take me to break into the million mark, and this game week finally allowed me that. And I think I told you guys last game week that I was not in my element in the past 7 or 8 game weeks. Like I was taking it too like too safe, playing it too safe. I think, and this podcast also had a part to play in that because I didn't want to make a fun of myself, but then last game week I came into my element and backed my gut instinct, and the result is there for all to see. Like I scored 102 points. Haaland gave me my desired points. And even if I didn't captain Haaland, I think Madison would have also, gave me those points because my Madison was my vice captain. Foden, I backed him from game week 6 that I because I still believe that he's the best 8 million midfielder in the Premier League and in the game. So yeah, apart from one or two misses in the back line, I'm very satisfied.
I'm glad the podcast played a role in helping you achieve what you wanted out of your team. I think it's gone the other way for me because the podcast pushed me into making a decision I probably wouldn't have made if not for this. I've had Trossard on my bench. He's scored a hat trick against Liverpool. Rahul Ali, we spoke about how Liverpool has their midfield back, and this could possibly be a revival for that team. And I was like, oh my god, you know what? I'm actually going to leave Trossard out. This could be the day for Liverpool. They might bang in 3-4 and probably not, like, probably concede one or two at max. But Trossard goes on to score a hat trick and he's on my bench.
There are few positives also from the podcast. You get different views. My view was that Brighton are gonna score, Liverpool will
Yeah,
concede.
exactly.
So
Yeah,
And like Liverpool also scored three.
yeah,
yeah,
it's up to us what we think.
yeah. I mean, absolutely. Uh, I mean, big bad decision for me. I had a terrible week. I didn't have Haaland in my team. We spoke about this last week. I really wanted to bring him in, and hence I have used my wild card. We'll talk about our game week 10 teams later on in the episode. But guys, points have been largely coming. The big points are coming from the strikers, the big boys. You see Jesus consistently scoring points. You have the big man Erling Haaland who nearly scores at least 10 points every game week. He's in amongst the assists as well. So in a season like this, it's so hard to leave out strikers. And then we I mean, we're also thinking about who the second big hitter could be apart from Haaland, right? We're talking about people like Mohamed Salah, we're talking about like people like Son, like Kane. So in all of this, who would your second choice be? Who is that second main man for you guys? Ali, who is it for you?
For me, it's Harry Kane. He has done pretty decently. He has scored 56 points by now. So I've backed him since the start, and he's giving decent outcomes for me right now. We have lots of strikers this time around, which we didn't have last year. We were focused completely on midfielders delivering points, but the momentum has shifted towards the striker now. So even mid-team strikers, they are delivering points, like Tony, and you can say the Fulham striker Mitrovic. So we have quite a great options there.
Rahul, I mean, Ali just spoke about the strikers in this conversation. What about the midfielders in this conversation? You also have the
Yeah,
likes of Salah. You
exactly.
have the
Yeah,
likes of
exactly.
Kevin De
Yeah,
Bruyne.
like my view is completely different from Ali, just because he answered what I was trying to like. Just he said it himself that there are a lot of options in the forward ranks, and if you look at closely, the way Harry Kane has been scoring, he has been scoring either 6 or 8 or just 10 points a game week, and the other forwards who are at least 4 or 5 million cheaper than him, if you just pick the right forward, then those forwards will give you those points in return. So it's better, and just because you have at the moment 8 or 9 strikers who are in form and are scoring abundance of goals, I feel that it is wise for managers to invest those 4 or 5 million pounds in your midfield region. And if the discussion comes to the premiums, so let's say the Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, and Hyun Min Song, I feel each of them have their own positives and negatives. Uh, and so yeah, like for me, that second premium will be in the midfield, and I don't feel like, if unless those that mid-price strikers drop off and stop scoring goals all of a sudden, I wouldn't be putting all my hopes on a say premium striker apart from Haaland. So that's my view on it. Because you see the point for a goal is also more for a midfielder. They got a extra point for clean sheet. So there are a lot of benefits in that regard.
But Rahul, let's just consider this. Let's consider the midfield angle of to this conversation. Who amongst the three are we looking at as the most favorable option? Like we've mentioned, Mohamed Salah, KDB, and Son Heung-min. Who among the three is the most likely? Let's take a look at this data and let's quickly run it through. What does this tell us, and what exactly are we looking at here?
Yeah. Look, the data here represents the underlying stats for all three of these midfielders from the start of the season till game week 9. Now, if you closely look at the expected points of all three, Kevin De Bruyne, Mohamed Salah, and Heung-min Son, so there isn't a major difference among the three. Let's say Kevin De Bruyne is averaging let's say 7 points, 7 expected points per game. Mohamed Salah is averaging 6.08 expected points a game, and Hyun Min Song is averaging 5.8 expected point games. And if you look at their actual FPL points, they are not far from their expected tally. While Mohamed Salah is slightly, outperforming his expected points, and Hyun Min Song is slightly, underperforming his expected points. Kevin De Bruyne is touching 8. However, the caveat here is, if you closely look at Kevin De Bruyne, most people will tell you that Kevin De Bruyne is having one of his best season in Man City, because what the numbers that he's been putting up is unmatched. Like, he has never put up these numbers for Man City team since the time he has joined. Like, if you add his non-penalty XG and his expected assist, he's averaging one goal involvement a week. Sorry, a one goal involvement a match. However, this is Kevin De Bruyne's best. Now, if we look at Mohamed Salah and Heung-min Son, we both know from the start of the season that both these assets are underperforming. Like, they haven't been their usual self. Despite that, they are so close to a Kevin De Bruyne who has been at the peak of his power for Man City. So this is why, for at least for me, I haven't taken a punt on the Kevin De Bruyne since the start of the season, and it is very unlikely that I will go that route. And for now, or let's say till the World Cup, my allegiance will lie for either with Mohamed Salah or a human song.
Hmm. Um, Ali, Rahul, I'm guessing this is a heat map of the players' touches
Yeah.
up
Yes.
on the screen, right? Ali, looking at it, for you, don't you feel like Hyun Son is out of the question? Looking at that heat map, looking at the fact that a lot of his involvement is in his own half and not in the opposition half? Or is there a
Yeah,
counter-attacking element to it wherein you're saying Tottenham play counter-attacking football and they're going to get chances anyways?
yeah, that's actually the reason, whichever match you pick up of Tottenham, they tend to have very, very less touches in their own box. Even if you pick up Harry Kane, he being a great striker, he doesn't have enough touches and enough opportunities in the box. That's due to the reason of them being a counter attacking team, whereas you have City and Liverpool both pressing and playing their major part in the opposition half. So that's the reason due to it. And the another reason for me is when Salah has played with Kane and Richarlison. Sorry, Son has played with Kane and Richarlison this time around. In this season, he's trying to be more of a creator than going towards the end of scoring goals. Even if you pick up his hat trick against Leicester, both two goals were outside of the box. So we are seeing a different Son this time.
So, Ali, quickly, who would be your preference amongst the premiums in the midfield?
I would prefer personally Mohamed Salah. Even you look at his XG and you look at his expected points 6.08, and he's having one of his worst season right now. So once he gets into the touch and he starts playing with confidence, he is absolutely gonna deliver more points. So as Rahul pointed out very, very well, that De Bruyne is at his peak, and over the less, when we talk about Son and Salah, they are the options in the midfield in FPL, but they are more a striker, especially Salah. He is the go-to man for Liverpool, so he's their major forward. So yeah, he's gonna deliver more points than De Bruyne come at the end of the season, I feel.
Guys, so quickly, we've spoken about the premiums in midfield and we've talked about everyone's
Rahul, I
preferences.
would like to add just one more thing that
Yeah,
like why the preference should go more towards Salah and Heung-min Song is that you see when you have, let's say, a Kevin De Bruyne, you don't see like be it the underlying stats or the eye test, like you don't see that there's a goal threat when Kevin De Bruyne is on the ball. Like he's a creative threat. He will get chances for that. Like he's someone who will give you a hat trick of assists. Whereas Mohamed Salah and Heung-min Song are who will give a hat trick of goals. Like this is, I think, this is the primary difference between the three assets here. Like the other two are primarily, goal threats, whereas Kevin De Bruyne is an assister. And moreover, the most striking thing with Mohamed Salah is that his non-penalty XG is more than both Kevin De Bruyne and Heung-min Son. And plus, you have to consider that he is on pens for Liverpool. So, by the end of the season, he is due to get at least 5 to 6 penalties for Liverpool. Be it whether he converts all of them or not, that's a different conversation altogether. But yeah, so like these facets, we should make Mohamed Salah as the go-to midfield option.
Rahul,
However, however, Rahul, I would like to ask you this: would you go with Salah for this game week 11, game week 10 and 11, or would you hold out with him till game week 12 and then bring him in?
Rahul, actually, I find it very tough to bring in two premiums into my team, and for that reason, which will actually bring us on very nicely to our next topic of conversation, is look for options amongst the midfielders in the mid-price range. That's something that I would look at. I'd have one premium up top, and for me, I'd accompany that premium with another striker, and I would go like in the midfield in that mid-range category. So again, like answering your question, I wouldn't have either of the three, and I would go for a more heavy mid-range team, which brings us to the midfield revival this season. We've seen over the last couple of weeks a lot of midfielders in that mid price range around between 6.5 million to 8.5 million deliver goals, goals, and goals. And is this the time for us to bring back or go heavy in midfield for the next coming weeks? Ali, what do you think? Do you think this is the time we need to bring in loads of midfielders, play around 4 to 5 midfielders in our FPL sides?
Yes, actually, I'm doing the same since last 2, 3, or 4 game weeks. I have Foden, Trossard, Zaha, Martinelli, four of them from this list in my team. So I don't have a premium midfielder in my team. I'm going with two premium strikers rather. So you know, these players, especially Trossard, the way he played against Liverpool, he put in those three goals. And under De Zerbi, although it was the first match under De Zerbi, he was more likely looking like a player who would be crucial for them in the final third, and he would play much more upwards rather than what he used to do under Graham Potter. So he is a big asset right now for us to consider. And again, we have a lot of options. All these players in the list are doing something. Most of them are delivering very well. Madison and Foden, whether Zaha, Martinelli. And it was very good to have Martinelli at 6.0 at the start of the season, and he has been consistent till now. So it is a big of a hectic decision for us to make whom to choose. It has been for me. So I've shuffled a lot between these players during this season's FPL. I've had Bowen, Rodrigo, and Saka. These players previously.
But Ali, if there's one player you really want to bank on in this list, who is that player going to be? If you're looking at a long-term option, who is that player for you who will stick in your team no matter what? Even if he has, what, 2, 3 bad game weeks, I'm going to stick with him. Maybe for the fixtures, maybe because he's just a good player. Maybe you're confident that he will deliver in the big games as well.
I would say the, I would give two options rather. First option for me is Martinelli, even though there are players who are scoring more goals than him. But why he is in my list as the priority is because I bought him at 6.0 right now. Right now he is at 6.6, so I don't have any thought of removing him till the end of the season for now. So Martinelli would be the first option for me. And if others have to consider bringing in a player right now, I feel Madison, because of the kind of fixtures Leicester have. They have pretty much easier games which will be in their favor, and that team is more on a go where they have to win lots of games, otherwise they might be in a relegation fight. So Madison has that character of delivering. He showed that. And even though Leicester have been poor, but Madison has showed that he will give outputs. So Madison would be the go-to man if I have to include one more.
Rahul, that must be music to your ears. A United fan saying he'll keep Martinelli in his FPL side and he's the go-to man for him. What
That's
about
that's
you? What do
because
you?
that's because I lose money on him. Otherwise,
Fair enough, fair
I would
enough,
have
fair enough.
yeah.
But Rahul, does that sound good to you?
But he is a
Yeah, obviously
brilliant
it
player.
sounds good to me that the people are backing me, and plus it it plays vindicate it feels vindicating as well because before the FPL season began, we at Sports Company put out a few Twitter threads where I had mentioned Martinelli as the guy that if he plays every single game, let's say 30 games this season, he will be a game breaker. If he is 6 million, he will end up. If he started at 6 million, he by the time the season ends, he might reach 7.5 million. So far it has been going as plan, and I also feel vindicated with with my assessment with Martinelli.
And I'm rooting for Martinelli this game week.
He's up
But
against Trent. I need
Yeah,
a
that's why.
double
I,
digit
I'm
points all.
yeah, I'm expecting that.
the last time he was up against Trent, I absolutely loved it. Although Arsenal didn't end up on the winning side, he really
Trent
ripped
will be
apart Trent on
toasted.
that side.
Trent will be toasted. And if Joe Gomez starts, then oh my god.
But there's a difference with Liverpool too, right? Like if you guys have watched their Champions League game against Rangers, like Liverpool played a different system, played a 4-2-3-1. And although it was Rangers, but still they looked a bit secured at the back. And yeah, and on the creative front as well, like Trent Alexander was more tucked into the midfield and wasn't bobbing up the field that much. And they had four genuine attackers up front in the final third. So if Jurgen Klopp goes with that same tactic against Arsenal, I feel like Martinelli, might not have such a great, time against Trent Alexander-Arnold than that we are hoping for right now. Because
No,
like
but
if Klopp goes with the same, lineup.
Yeah, I do felt that Klopp was trying a different set of formation and different kind of gameplay to tackle what has been happening with that team defensively. But what I feel is that might be a gut feeling or being a United fan, but I do think Martinelli is too good for Trent to handle, and with that kind of form and that kind of support with the teammates, the way they even though the way he has two qualities in his game. Whether he's playing invertedly, he's holding the width, he's running at you, and he'll kill you. That's how his attitude has been this season. So I still, even though if Liverpool sit back or whatever happens, I still feel he might even win a penalty against Trent. that that is a possibility. So I still back Martinelli no matter what against Liverpool.
With Arsenal, I never feel that we would ever be at the end of receiving one. Like I always feel like we are the ones there that will concede one.
That has
Yeah.
been happening.
But yeah, guys, we spoke about. I mean, we've spoken about some mid-priced midfielders, and
Rahul, who would you go with in this
I
list?
I genuinely feel like for me the go-to man is James Madison right now. To be performing the way he is in a struggling Leicester side, just imagine if they do end up, you know what, if they have a surer defense and if they leak fewer goals, it just gives like it just gives the forward so much more confidence to to really go out there and perform. Right now, probably there are like a couple of guys who are on song for Leicester. Madison's one of them. But if everybody really clicks in that Leicester side, they could be scoring a lot more.
And what are your
Um,
views on Zaha? Like, if we like look at his underlying, like among these 13 players, Zaha had the worst run of fixtures from game week 1 to 9. And if you look at
right.
his underlying stats, his underlying stat like he has a 0.64 expected goal non-penalty goal involvement, like which is great for a player who's playing for Crystal Palace. And if we look at his fixture difficulty from game week 10 to 16, like he Crystal Palace have the easiest run of fixtures. So don't you think I know Ali has Zaha, but I don't think you have Zaha in your team, right? So
No,
like
I
don't
don't.
you
I
think
do
like
not.
oh,
I don't. Yeah.
you
I
don't?
agree with you. I would. I think Zaha is not a bad option at all. I think it just comes down to personal preference in the end. For me, I
Hmm.
think I looked at a couple of other midfield options over Zaha, but I don't think Zaha is a bad option at all. If you fancy Zaha, you can bring him in. Again, he's on penalties, so if they do nick a few penalties here and there, he is likely to put them away. I don't think Zaha is a bad option at all, given the fixture difficulty as well. I have no problem with people if you fancy Zaha for any reason, for any of those reasons actually.
And
But
would
yeah,
any one of you
yeah.
look to get in a Jack Grealish?
Considering different options we have apart from him,
Because
I
that
would,
Man City front three is nailed, right?
yeah, I I would consider having him as my maybe fourth choice after Martinelli, Madison, and Zaha, or maybe fifth after Trossard, because there are players who would give same kind of performances or even better, and they are more likely to play every games for them for their respective teams rather than Zaha. Sorry, rather than Grealish, who might be dropped in some occasions and who wouldn't consistently play 90 minutes. So for that reason alone, I would have different players.
I completely second that reasoning.
And
And
yeah, Rahul, what are your thoughts? Oh, you're just a secondary,
same
right?
thing, same thing.
Yeah, my reservation with Grealish is that like let's say you have a Haaland, you have a Cancelo, and you have a Foden, then there's no way to get him. If
Hmm.
you are thinking of not getting one of those three assets, then there's a place for a Jack Grealish in your team, and then again there comes the point about whether he's someone who will give you those attacking returns, because you see City hit six past United in the last game week, but I don't think like he was heavily involved in that all those
Build-ups.
six yeah all those six goals, but he didn't return any attacking returns. So that is
Yeah,
the problem with Jack Grealish. I feel because since the start of the season, this is what I've been noticing, that both Grealish and Kevin De Bruyne have been sitting a bit deeper, and they are the main creative outlets for a City team, whereas the likes of Foden and Haaland are the ones who are getting at the end of the balls. And putting the ball at the back of the net.
Yeah, that's what I think. There are players in this list who are more likely to score a goal rather than Grealish. So that is a major factor in considering. Even Anthony right now looks like he at least will score twice in 3 games. He's actually the best forward at United right now straight away. So there are players who would give better goal results in again rather than Grealish.
Yeah. No,
My
fair enough.
reservation with Anthony is that the sample set has been very small so far.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, that has
at
been.
least for me, I would like to still hold back for 2 to 3 games. Like if I am to take a punt on him, I would look to take a punt on him post game week 13.
Yeah, that's why I don't have him right now. But the way he has started his career at United, it's been very
Hmm.
promising. So
Yeah, I agree. And any quick word on the West Ham assets? Like Jared Bowen, like he scored
It's
14
too
points
early.
last game week.
I think it's too
yeah,
early.
but that's right now considering the
But they
way
have the
West Ham have
fixtures,
been.
right?
Yeah, I guess they do, and it really, the game really kicked off after a wonder goal from Skamaka. I think I want to see some good performances from West Ham on a consistent basis, and then you can probably
Yeah,
trust West Ham assets. But yeah, not before. I think it's too soon to trust the West Ham asset.
yeah, that's what I think.
Agree.
Yeah,
All right then.
yeah. Guys, we spoke about midfielders, cheaper options. We've spoken about the premium assets. Ali spoke about Ali and I, both of us, we spoke about how our second premium option will also be a striker. Guys, who are the strikers to target if on a as a second premium option, or like in terms of cheaper options? Who are we looking at? Ali, who are you looking at as a second choice striker or a third choice striker in your side?
I have both of them whom I feel would be a better second choice. Third choice for me, second choice has been Harry Kane as the premium asset, and the third has been Gabriel Jesus. But we can also look into someone like Ivan Tony, and it's too early to comment on Martial. Let's see if he gets injured again or not. I hope not, but I think he will give some good decent points at 6.9. He might be someone to be considered after 2 or 3 game weeks more. So right now, Jesus and Tony, these two are the best options for me as a third striker or for Sam as second. Callum Wilson is the one, but I'm very uncertain because of his injury records, and that's why I wouldn't back on him. So I want players who are regularly fit and regularly playing for their teams.
Rahul, given the fact that Wilson is fit and he did start last time out for Newcastle, would you trust Callum Wilson in your side, or are you looking at other strikers as possible options?
I think I told you guys in the last podcast as well that Callum Wilson is the guy to go to. But the thing with him is that you never know when he will get injured next. Like you can bring him this game week and then he will get injured after 30 minutes, or he can play the next 4 games and he can go injured. But the one thing that is inevitable is that he will get injured. It's
Yeah,
just a matter of time. So
exactly.
like, how can you utilize him? That's the main issue here. And like I wanted to ask Ali one question since he's a Manchester United fan. Ali, like, what are your thoughts on Martial in the sense that like, is he more so a rotation risk than an injury risk for the upcoming 3 or 4 fixtures with someone like Marcus Rashford, or do you think he will get the minutes and it's just a matter of whether he gets injured or not?
Yeah, I think it is more of of an injury risk rather than a rotation risk. You know, let's consider Ronaldo the way Erik Ten Hag has used him. I
Hmm.
cannot see him starting as a striker yet. Rashford has been good as a striker against Arsenal, but in rest of the games where he has been good, he has majorly played as a left winger. So I still don't believe that he is a good enough striker. And with Martial being there fully fit, Erik Ten Hag would love to go to him. And the way he has backed Martial and listening to the press conferences and all, I think he's preserving Martial rather than pushing him straight away, just to have him fully fit and performing as a striker. And the second part which I have witnessed since starting following since I started following Manchester United this time. Anthony Martial is a completely different figure mentally, so that's a big plus.
All
Fair
right.
enough.
Yeah, because I was thinking of, if he can, dethrone someone like a Rashford or Rashford for that number 9 role, like I would happily take a punt on him post game week 12. Moreover, I would
Yeah,
also like to ask you guys, what are your views on Welbeck? Because he had an excellent game against Liverpool, and since the start of the season, or let's say the back end of last season, Welbeck has been in superb run of form. Like, and he's someone that I'm really looking at, getting into my team. So what are your thoughts on him?
I personally think Welbeck, the issue with him is he's just not clinical enough in front of goal. He gets his chances, he does not put them away. That's the only thing with Welbeck. Welbeck, I've seen him this season have enough chances, and he's had some really clear cut ones, and he's not put them away. That's probably the biggest worry with him. But otherwise, I would definitely go on and take a punt on somebody like a Danny Welbeck.
But that's what I was thinking, right? Because with be it a good time or a bad time, it eventually runs out, right? So like he has been like playing very well, but he's just not getting the end product. I feel like now that Deserve is also there, like this might be the time that at least for a few games, or at least that he gets to hold those big points. And particularly since both Arsenal and Man City are blanking in game week 12, I feel that and I think Brighton have a very good fixture in game week 12, so like I would really like to target him during that time.
Yeah, I mean, it absolutely wouldn't be a bad option. He might just get you the odd goal, but to consistently score every game or around, if you're looking to keep Welbeck for a certain period of time, he probably won't get you a goal like say maybe even every 2 game weeks. That's the reason I'd probably have him out. But yeah, I mean, he's a good shot because the Brighton will create chances and he will get chances for sure.
But then aren't the likes of like Tony or say Wilson? Like Wilson has just come back from injury. Like Isaac before him and all those guys, like they were also returning the one goal in every 2 games. I think so. I don't know about you, but like since I've been playing this game for like at least 8 to 9 years now, like what I believe is that when you're targeting your forwards, let's say be it your like midfielder, like those who midfielder that are your wingers and your strikers, like at least for those players you should instead of going with the fixture you should go with the form, whereas when you're picking your defenders, that is the time you look at your fixtures and then target your defender. Like this has been my mantra since the last 7 or 8 years, and it has served me very well. But and yeah, let's see. But yeah, like this is my general feeling, and he has been in a great run of fixtures, and I've been biding my time for some time, like, hoping that he might drop off. He might drop off, but his although he's not getting the end product, his performance level hasn't dropped one bit.
Yeah.
another name I would like to give a shout to would be Neil Mope. His
Yeah,
Hmm.
expected
I
goals
was going to come to him.
3.42, and the kind of fixtures Everton have, they have been defensively pretty solid. And
Excuse me.
and the thing with Neil Maupay is he tends to have good movements in and around the box. He gets positions that, but the problem is he is not getting served enough from his co-players. And once the likes of Anthony Gordon, Demarai Gray, or McNeil, these players start performing to the mark to their ability, with Neil Maupay is gonna get more and more goals, and he's having a decent run of fixtures at Everton. So I would
Is
like
he
to have him.
also on pens for Everton?
I'm not sure. I think yeah, he should be on
He
pens.
should be, right? Like he was on
Yeah,
pens
they
Yeah,
all
for
he
know.
should be on
Yeah,
bench
he should be. He has they
because
since
I
he's there, they
haven't
haven't
seen
got a
them
penalty.
win one. But I think
Yeah,
since he's the main man, he should be the one taking the penalty. Because
yeah,
apart from
because
him, there's no one who is a good
Hmm.
penalty taker in that Everton squad.
yeah,
Yeah.
there's no one apart from him.
Guys, again, like we've had our shouts for our possible options for the striker role.
Yeah, I have
Um,
one more thing. Yeah,
yeah.
like that player is not in this list, but I am target like watching him very closely as a gooner, and this is our former captain Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang. Like I
Hmm.
feel like Chelsea are slowly getting in a groove. Like although I still feel they will be a hit and miss in the league till at least till the World Cup. But at least on the attacking front, Chelsea are looking like clicking to an extent. Like Graham Potter, instead of going on his experimental way, he reverted to Thomas Tuchel's 4-3-2-1 against AC Milan, and the results were there for everyone to see. Like the Chelsea were very fluid. Like their forward players were getting into very dangerous situation, and AC Milan just didn't know what hit them in that fixtures. And Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang has been looking very good touch. So so he's someone I can take a punt on, because you see you should hit the hammer when the iron is hot, right?
Yeah,
Right. I mean,
actually against AC,
he does look like a player revived.
yeah, actually against AC Milan, he was very bad. I think he rather bad. He wasn't involved much into the play, but he still got the goal because of a mistake from
No,
Tomori
I'm
and
talking
a
about
decent
the
cross
like
from James.
Chelsea system as a
Yeah,
general
yeah, that's what
in
I'm
that.
telling.
Yeah.
I'm telling they are starting to create those chances which they were lacking previously. So he's kind of striker when he's served. He's world class. So we can have a punt on him.
Yeah. So, guys, there you go. You have some decent shouts for striker options as well. Quickly, let's talk about the blanks in Game Week 12, Rahul. You have stressed on this for the last couple of episodes and how important your team must be and how important this blank people have to consider. And what is your
Look,
take on
yeah.
this Week 12 blank? Like, how do you approach it?
Yes, look, I have specially got this creative prepared just for to discuss this point, because and I felt that in order to discuss this game like blank game week 12, like we had to also put in the fixtures for Man City and Arsenal to get a to get the context on whether we should whether should hold on to them, or whether we should sell them. Because if you look at Man City's run of fixtures, they face Southampton this game week, followed by Liverpool, then they have the blank, followed by Brighton, Leicester, Fulham, and Brentford. And similarly, Arsenal have Liverpool and Leeds, followed by that blank, and then they have Southampton, Nottingham Forest, Chelsea, and Wolves. Now, both these teams have very good fixtures in terms of their attacking front. Like you won't expect them to not score goals against each of those six teams. And now the main question comes is that how many assets do you have from these two teams, and if you are not looking to sell them. Let's say you have three assets from both Manchester City and Arsenal, and then you have two or three deadwood players in your bench that won't score you any points, or let's say they are injured. So my main target as an FPL manager would be, if there are two or three assets that I don't want to sell, and if I am to bench them, then the players that would be coming on from the bench, they should be decent enough to give me those points. And now let's say, since there would be no Haaland, there would be no Jesus, there would be no Martinelli, there would be no De Bruyne, there would be no Cancelo, there would be no Foden. Now, who is your optimal captain choice for that game week 12? Now, Liverpool face, I think Liverpool face West Ham in that game week, and West Ham are not that defensively good. So, someone like Salah, or let's say if you want to take punt on someone like a Firmino or Diaz, but albeit they are rotation rigs, so you can take punt on someone like Salah or a Kane or even a Son in that game week 12. But
Against Man United,
sorry.
against Manchester United, Spurs are playing
Spurs,
Manchester
yeah, yeah,
United.
yeah, yeah. Spurs are against Manchester United, and that's and yeah, it is a bit of concern for me, that Spurs and Manchester United match, because both team are not free flowing. They are both pragmatic to an extent, and this could certainly not be a fixture where the strikers can get a lot of goals.
Yeah,
So,
I'm
like
expecting lesser
for me,
goals.
the ideal target would be a Liverpool asset in that blank game week. So, like if let's say you are to target an Mo Salah, so for you, the next point would be whether you have the funds to move to someone like a Salah, or whether let's say you would like to take fund on someone like again the players like Madison or other players. Then third point I want to stress on is that like people would be scrambling around to field 11 players. I feel like you don't have to field 11 players, because you see, let's say you are transferring out 4 players and you are taking a minus 12. Now the 4 players that you are bringing in, you have to be have to have very easy fixtures, and you have to certain about them to the extent that they will recover those minus 12 points. Because and this is the sort of gamble I played in game week 9, sorry, game week 8, because if you guys remember, I had taken a minus 16, because I had only 6 playing outfield players, and I got rewarded in the sense that the players that I took, they gave me 41 points. But this won't happen every single game week, because there's a element of luck in FPL as well. So yeah, it is not important to field 11 outfield players, but the players that you're fielding should have a decent enough fixtures to give you a decent enough chance to score a respectable game week score. This should be your main motive, and you don't have to unnecessarily burn your free transfer. Like, and playing players like Nico Williams, Andres Pereira, or a Solanke or a Patson Daka is absolutely fine. For me, the main target, and another thing that I would like to stress is that you will see, uh, at least I would say the 300,000 to 450,000 FPL managers will try to look and play their free hit cards. Because
Right.
if they sit back and rationally think about it, they don't have to pay their free hit card, because they can use their free hit when there are double game
Double
weeks and
game
double
weeks.
blank post the World Cup, and it will be beneficial for you back then. So if you have more than 3 or 4 Man City or Arsenal assets, the best thing is for you to do is, let's say you have a for let's say in my team I have Martinelli, Cancelo, then Foden and Haaland. The most likely scenario will be I will be transferring out Cancelo by game week 11 or game week 12, but I will keep the other 3 players in my bench. And from now on till game week 12, my main target is that to make my bench so strong that it that my team doesn't suffer because of that game week, and I have a respectable score.
Fair enough. I think that's spot on, Rahul. What you mentioned, how your approach to Game Week 12 has to be. But let's look a little ahead. I mean, let's look a little behind Game Week 12. Let's look at what we have for Game Week 10. Let's take a look at our teams for Game Week 10. Ali, let's take a look at your team first. Any changes for you? Any big decisions, big calls ahead of the coming game week?
Yeah, I made 2 changes. I got Foden for Bernardo and I got Trossard for, was there, I don't remember, sorry. So I got Trossard and and Foden in my team, and I'm regretting including Foden straight away. But let's see what I will do. Come at the game week 12, I'm in a dilemma of using free hit now or when 2 game weeks are at once. So
But why
it's-
the regret with pertaining to Foden?
no, just the regret is him not playing in the game week 12. So I will have 6 players who will not be playing in game week 12. So that's a lot. I might transfer
Oh,
out 2 of them.
sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, go on, go on. No, no, go on. Like, no, I have a point, but I will just explain that when my team is up. Sorry.
Okay, sure, sure. So I made those 2 changes, having Trossard in, just have that gut feeling and the way the team has been playing and the way he has been approaching the games, he'll deliver points. And I got Foden into my team. Now I'm pretty certain that Foden is the second go-to forward for Pep after Haaland. Until now, I wasn't sure about that,
Fair
and
enough.
rest
I
of the
mean,
teams.
the concerns around Foden are fair. Rahul, what about you? Any big changes in your team going into game week 10, or are you sticking with? the same team that you had?
Well, I have made, one early change that I have bought in Mark Guehi because, like, when we were discussing the midfielder revival section, like, if you guys have noticed, the Crystal Palace have the best running of fixtures from now till the World Cup, and they have also a very good run of they have very good run of defensive fixtures as well as attacking fixtures. So my target has been to get in Guehi, and apart from that, the rest of the team has been same. And beside that, my other concern is that as I told you that I would be shifting out Cancelo, but I had told that mistakenly because yeah, I was thinking about transferring out Cancelo, but after Walker's injury, like he's the go-to right back for Manchester City, and we know what a beast he is on the right wing. So like just and most probably most probably Walker would be out till the World Cup. So in that regard, I might hold back on him, and I might even field 10 players for game week 12. Like I won't feel regret for that because the points that Cancelo can give me from the right wing outweighs any transfer that I make to get on anyone else.
That sounds fair enough. So coming to me, I played my wild card because I couldn't take this Haaland nonsense anymore any longer. I've lost way too many points because of Erling Haaland, and I had to bring him in. And this is my wild card team. I'm pretty happy about it. I think I came to a decent consensus as to uh, who had to make the team and who had to not. Uh, but yeah, what do you guys think about my wildcard team right now? Because I think I'm the last one to have played the wildcard amongst the four of us.
I Yeah, I feel it's very good. Like
Yeah, it's really good.
Estupinan is a good differential. Guetta, you have made a good choice there because I'm also considering getting him in. Like I'm considering getting him in post game week 12, but you have kudos to you for getting him in early because like he has the potential to get a clean sheet against someone like Leeds United. So fair
Right.
point there. And yeah, I would suggest you to go with Martinelli instead of Rodrigo. That would be my only suggestion for you. Otherwise, then I feel your team is nailed, and I don't see any weaknesses here.
Yeah, I think I am going with Martinelli instead of Rodrigo. I have made that change. It's not on the screen, but yeah, I think I went with Martinelli, yeah, instead of Rodrigo itself. Yeah. So that's about it with my team. Guys, looking ahead to
I would
the
suggest one
yeah,
more
yeah,
change. I think
Van Dijk.
you might consider removing Van Dijk and getting in some other
I knew Ali
back.
would come here.
for the clean sheets.
No,
You
he's
don't see the
he's
clean
not able
sheets
to
coming?
provide those clean sheets. That's the reason I'm telling you.
Yeah, yeah.
He's
I
not
And
doing
neither
completely
is
justice.
he getting you those set piece goals.
goals,
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right,
So
right.
he's
So
he's
you are
not
wasting
himself
your
right
6
now.
million there.
So you can have
Yeah,
much more better fullback at that price.
my head is still stuck in
I know
last week's.
since you were on a wild card, I would suggest, like you still have unlimited transfers, right?
Yeah,
If
Yeah.
you are to, if you are feeling frisky and if you want to take a punt, I would, strongly suggest you to go with Chilwell this game. He might bag, 15, 18 points easily because unlike Reece James or a Trent Alexander-Arnold, Ben Chilwell is a goal-scoring wing back. So people
right.
underestimate that facet of his game. So while James or a Trent Alexander will give you those assists and those occasional goals, Chilwell will give you more goals and less assists. So he's someone you can take a punt on since you are still on a wild card.
Fair enough. I think I'll have a think about it tonight. Hopefully something strikes me, and I think yeah, we're just talking about it. Hopefully, like I'll look into it a little more, and I'll
Yeah,
figure that out.
and why I'm suggesting you this because you see Fofana is at least out for I feel Fofana is at least out till the World Cup.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
since Fofana is out, Chilwell automatically slots into one of the centre back roles. Sorry, not Chilwell, Cucurella
Okay,
Chilwell.
yeah.
slots into one of those centre back roles. So that opens up the left back or left wing back slot for Chilwell. So in that way, he is assured of more minutes before Fofana's injury. So Yeah, he's someone you should keep an eye on.
But Rahul, is there also a risk of James slotting into that centre back role, which we saw under Tuchel happen a little bit?
I doubt he would do that because mm, yeah, because they still have Aspilicueta, Thiago Silva, and I think Koulibaly is still there, right? He's
Yeah,
not injured,
Koulibaly is back. Yeah,
I
and they
either
are
way,
think
playing.
yeah, the other thing is who would play as the right wing back if they're playing a back three, and James is their probably their best creator when it comes to
Hmm.
fizzing in process from the wings. So I think
Yeah,
Potter
so
is smart enough
James
to
is fixed there.
use his attacking instincts to get goals and have Chaloba as Piliqueta as the third centre backs. And he has played Kukureya as the left centre back at Brighton, and he knows him very well how he does there, and he helps him much more with his short passes and those build ups and carrying the ball into the midfield. So I think he would go with Kukureya if he has to go with the third centre back in the back three.
yeah. I think that argument I will definitely buy. Um, that does make a lot of sense. I feel like if he does, if given the fact that it is Graham Potter and he has played Cucurella as that third centre back at Brighton, it is very likely that it will happen at Chelsea. Um, Guys, apart from the FPL, just quickly, what are your takes on Arsenal Liverpool? Is the big game for the weekend? All eyes on that game. Liverpool really need to bounce back. Arsenal on a good run. Hopefully, they will continue that run. They're playing at home. Do you see this Liverpool side beating a very, very confident Arsenal team?
Absolutely.
You see
Liverpool
You
Liverpool.
see
have
them
been,
beating?
yes, Liverpool have been our bogey team for the last 6 to 7 years.
Okay,
And only because of this reason, I will never be confident until the final whistle blows and we see out the game.
I'm expecting a
And
draw.
I also know that Roberto Firmino, Mohamed Salah, and Diego Jota will play their best game of the season against us because this happens all the time. So I am mentally prepared for that, and this is why I am not filling myself with overconfidence.
uh, Ali, how what do you think will happen? Are you a little more confident than my Arsenal
And
compatriot in
Rahul,
Rahul?
just
Yes, yes,
one
I'm
final
probably more
bit that
confident.
and in terms of if we go by predictions, like I will also predict a 2-2 or a 3-3 goal fest between Arsenal and Liverpool. So
Fair
this
enough.
is
That's
my
That's what I
major
think.
concern. That
yeah,
we will score, but we will be very open too.
true.
Yeah, I think
Ali,
so.
what about you?
Same. I actually expect more from Arsenal than Rahul does right now. I can understand why he's like that, but Liverpool have been when they concede, they don't look like a team who can bounce back. So if Arsenal get first goal or maybe the second, then Liverpool will be down bad. So it's about who sets their momentum first, come at the start of the game. And I expect a draw. I hope that's a draw. I want both the teams to drop 2 points.
Points. Yeah. Fair enough. I'm hoping for Arsenal to score early on. We didn't score against Liverpool last season. But yeah, I think we need the first goal. And if we do get the first goal, the crowd will be behind us. And that'll probably help us cross the
Maybe a
line.
Firmino hat trick.
I mean, I'm dreading it. I've seen the worst against Liverpool. I really
If
know.
Man City if Man City wasn't playing Southampton, I would have given the captain's armband to Gabriel Martinelli.
Same. I would have done that.
uh, Rahul, then you have to be a little more optimistic. Come on, then
No,
if
I
you're
am
saying
optimistic that we will score goals, but I'm also like realistic that the Liverpool front three will be, on our throats from the get-go because
absolutely,
they just love playing against us. There's no two ways
that is
about it.
Partey is fit, right?
Yeah, he's
part is
fit.
part is
That will be a massive boost for us
Yeah, if he
because
wasn't fit, I
for the
think
last
you would
two
have
or three
lost.
games, Partey was not there when we played Liverpool.
true. Yeah,
He is an important asset for you.
I mean,
Yeah, he's the most
whichever way,
vital cog in our midfield.
yeah,
Mm,
he absolutely is. Guys, whichever way the game goes, let's hope it's a cracking game for a neutral also. But yeah, thanks guys for joining me and tuning into Blood, Sweat, and Beers. We'll be back next week with the this week's review, and then we'll be looking ahead to game week 11 and the weeks ahead. So yeah, that's about it from us. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in.
thank you.